There comes a point in everyone's life when the weight gets heavy, when things don't go the way you planned, when the people you counted on disappear, when the dreams you were holding start to crumble right in your hands. And in those moments, there's a question that creeps into your mind, a quiet, dangerous question. Why is this happening to me? We've all asked it. In pain, in confusion, in anger. It's human. But let me offer something that might change how you carry what you've been through. Maybe it's not happening to you. Maybe it's happening for you. That shift in perspective changes everything. Because when you believe life is just attacking you, just tearing you down, you become a victim. But when you start to believe it's all part of a process working for you, then you begin to rise. You begin to look at that hardship, and instead of seeing it as the end, you see it as instruction. In seeing punishment, you see preparation. Instead of falling into despair, you begin to stand in purpose. You see your struggle is a signal. It's life shaking you, pushing you, trying to move you into something greater. But that can't happen if you're stuck in the mindset that you're just being targeted. You're not being targeted. You're being taught. Every delay is teaching you patience. Every betrayal is teaching you discernment. Every failure is teaching you resilience. But you won't catch the lesson if your head is filled with, why me? You've got to change the narrative. You've got to look at the storm and ask, what is this trying to show me? Because the moment you shift your perspective, you take your power back. Look around at the people who've made something of themselves. Not the ones who had it easy, but the ones who've been through the mud, the ones who've lost everything and still got back up. What do they have in common? It wasn't just talent. It wasn't just luck. It was vision. It was the ability to look at their darkest day and still believe, this has meaning. This is working in my favor. You may not control what happens to you, but you absolutely control what you call it. You get to label your pain. You can call it a curse, or you can call it your classroom. You can call it the worst season of your life, or the moment you were forced to find out who you really are. Perspective is everything. It's the difference between breaking and building. The difference between giving up and getting stronger. The difference between being buried and being planted. Because both feel the same at first. Dirt in your face, darkness all around, isolation, confusion. But what separates the buried from the planted is what happens next. If you believe you've been buried, you'll panic, you'll give up, you'll stop pushing. But if you believe you've been planted, you'll stay grounded. You'll absorb what's around you. You'll grow. You'll reach. When life doesn't go your way, it's easy to shrink, to retreat, to believe the lie that you're cursed, that nothing works for you, that the world is against you. But if you stop and look again, if you ask yourself not, why me? But what now? That shift will change your life. Because now you're not the victim of your story. You're the author. You don't wait to be rescued. You learn to rescue yourself. You weren't meant to go through life untouched. You weren't meant to float from one to another. There's a reason why the strongest people you know have the deepest scars. It's because they didn't just survive. They understood. They chose to shift. They chose to believe that life wasn't destroying them. It was developing them. That every loss carried a lesson. That every no was guiding to the right yes. That every heartbreak was chiseling them into someone more compassionate, more focused, more real. Pain with the wrong perspective will paralyze you. Pain with the right perspective will empower you. The difference is not what happened. The difference is how you see what happened. Life isn't out to get you. It's out to grow you. But that growth can only begin when you choose to stop asking why and start asking, what is this giving me? What is this building in me? Pain. The word alone is heavy. It brings with it memories, moments, feelings we try so hard to forget. Some of us have cried silently in the middle of the night, trying not to wake anybody. Others have walked through a crowd with a smile on their face and a storm inside their chest. We wear pain in different ways, but one truth connects us all. We've felt it. We've lived with it. And sometimes we've been defined by it. But here's something that's hard to believe when you're in the middle of itty-gee pain is not pointless. It's not random. It's not just suffering for the sake of suffering. Pain has purpose. And once you begin to understand that, once you stop seeing it as an enemy and start seeing it as an instructor, everything in your life starts to change. Pain is a messenger. It shows up in your life to alert you, to awaken you, to move you. Sometimes it arrives because something needs to change. Sometimes it comes because something needs to grow. And sometimes it shows up to strip away the comfort that's kept you small for too long. Pain doesn't just knock. It kicks the door down. It doesn't whisper. It screams, not to destroy you, but to demand your attention. Because there are some things in life you will never truly understand until you've felt them deep in your soul. There are lessons only pain can teach. Strength that only comes when your back is against the wall. Compassion that only rises after you've been broken. Vision that only becomes clear after the tears have stopped falling. Pain humbles you. It reshapes your priorities. It strips away the fake and reveals the real. That's why some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet are also the ones who've suffered the most. Not because they were spared from pain, but because they found purpose in it. You see, pain has a way of forcing you to look within, to stop blaming, stop running, and start reflecting. It forces you to ask the deeper questions. Who am I without the title? Without the applause? Without the plan going my way? When everything is stripped away and all you're left with is yourself, that's when the real work begins. That's when the foundation of your character built, and pain is the tool that chisels it into place. It's not about enjoying pain. It's not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about understanding that what hurts you can also build you. It's about realizing that the very thing you thought would break you might actually be the very thing that makes you unbreakable. Every scar tells a story. Not of weakness, but of survival. Every wound is proof that you made it through something that was designed to stop you. Some of your greatest clarity will come after your greatest confusion. Some of your deepest strength will be forged in your darkest hours. And some of your biggest breakthroughs will be born out of the very things you prayed would pass. You thought the pain was holding you back, but it was preparing you. You thought it was the enemy, but it was the mentor. It wasn't there to punish you. It was there to promote you, to push you into the version of yourself you never would have met if life had stayed easy. Growth doesn't happen in the light alone. Seeds don't sprout on the surface. They push through the dirt, the pressure, the darkness. And so do you. That ache in your heart, that fire in your chest, it means something. It's not for nothing. You didn't go through all that just to be the same. You didn't cry all those tears just to stay stuck. There's something waiting on the other side of your pain, but you only get there if you go through it, not around it. You only find the treasure if you dare to dig beneath the surface. Pain has a language. It speaks in silence. It speaks in sleepless nights. It speaks in those moments when everything in you wants to quit, but something in you says, keep going. That voice inside you, that's purpose waking up. That's resilience learning to breathe. That's the real you fighting to emerge. Pain doesn't just visit your life to leave it worse than it found it. It comes to break the illusion and reveal the truth. It comes to burn away the unnecessary and leave you with only what matters. It comes to show you what you're capable of, even when you thought you had nothing left. Rejection stings. There's no easy way around it. You put yourself out there. You apply for the job. You audition for the part. You open your heart. You speak your dream, and then you get a no. Sometimes it's polite. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's loud and crushing. But no matter how it comes, it has a way of making you question everything. Your talent, your worth, your path, even your purpose. Rejection feels like a door slamming in your face, like the universe just shrugged its shoulders and walked away. But what if the door didn't close to punish you? What if it closed to protect you? What if that no wasn't rejection at all, but redirection? We tend to believe that when something doesn't work out, it means we weren't good enough, that we didn't have what it takes. But sometimes the reason it didn't work out is because it wasn't meant to. Not because you're unworthy, but because it was too small for what you're really called to do. Sometimes rejection is the detour that keeps you from settling for less than what you're truly capable of. Sometimes it's life saying, that's not your door. I've got something better if you keep walking. Think about all the times you thought something was the end. And later you realized it was the beginning. Think about the people you once begged to stay who walked away, and how much clearer your vision became once they were gone. That wasn't a loss. That was alignment. That was life clearing space. Because you can't move forward carrying everything that once fit your past. And sometimes the only way to get you to let go is for life to let you be rejected. Rejection has a way of waking you up. It forces you to reevaluate, to ask yourself, is this really what I want, or is this just what I'm used to? Sometimes we chase things not because they're aligned with our soul, but because they're familiar, comfortable, safe. But safety is not always growth, and comfort doesn't build character. So rejection steps in, not to hurt you, but to reroute you, to shake you out of autopilot, to turn you around and point you towards something that matches the person you're becoming, not the one you used to be. There's a hidden gift in every closed door, but you don't see it right away. At first, all you feel is the impact, the letdown, the silence. But over time, if you look closely, you'll realize that rejection didn't take your dream away. It just trimmed the parts that didn't fit. It sharpened your focus. It built your grit. It humbled your ego. It taught you how to keep moving even when you didn't get applause. Rejection is not a full stop. It's a pause, a pivot, a chance to level up. And if you keep your eyes open, you'll find that the no you hated was the very thing that led you to the yes you needed. The truth is, if every door opened easily, you wouldn't value the one that finally does. If everyone accepted you, you'd lose sight of what makes you unique. Rejection refines your message. It teaches you to be bold with your voice, not bend it just to be accepted. It trains you to stop seeking permission and start walking in conviction. You stop knocking just to be let in and start building doors of your own. You weren't meant to fit everywhere. You weren't designed to be chosen by everyone. And that's not a weakness. That's clarity. Rejection helps you see where you don't belong so you can focus your energy on where you do. It removes the noise. It exposes the distractions. It keeps you from investing your soul in something that could never carry your vision. It's not just redirection. It's divine course correction, a reroute with intention behind it. So when rejection comes, and it will, don't fall into the trap of self-doubt. Don't beg for access to what won't honor your gift. Don't waste your fire trying to force yourself into spaces that can't handle your light. What turns you away may be pushing you towards something that will embrace you fully. The opportunity you didn't get might be making space for the one you were born to lead. The place that said no may be the reason you find the place that says yes without hesitation. We all want growth. We all want to be stronger, wiser, more powerful, more resilient. We talk about becoming the best version of ourselves, stepping into our potential, living a life of purpose and impact. But what we don't always talk about is the price, the process, the struggle. Because real growth doesn't come when everything is easy. It doesn't come when you're comfortable. It doesn't come when the path is clear and the doors fly open on the first knock. Growth shows up in the grit, in the grind, in the resistance. You don't build muscle without tension. You don't build endurance without fatigue. And you don't build character without challenge. The struggle isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's proof that something is happening. It's the friction that sharpens you, the pressure that pushes you, the resistance that readies you. Without struggle, there's no depth, no roots, no fire. Struggle is the incubator where growth is formed. Not just physical, but emotional, spiritual, mental. Everything that makes you unshakable is born in moments that tested you, not comforted you. Look back on the moments that changed you the most, the ones that shaped you, that forced you to grow up, wise up, level up. They weren't the easy seasons. They weren't the wins. They were the losses, the heartbreaks, the times when you didn't know how you were going to make it through. But somehow you did. Those were the moments that taught you what books couldn't, what mentors couldn't, what success never could. Struggle takes theory and makes it real. It takes intention and turns it into identity. The truth is, struggle stretches you in ways comfort never will. It demands more from you. It brings your fears to the surface, but it also awakens your courage. It exposes your weaknesses, but it also reveals your strengths. And sometimes the biggest breakthroughs are on the other side of the breakdown. That breakdown isn't the end. It's the middle. It's the messy part of transformation. The place where your old self resists letting go and your new self hasn't fully arrived yet. It's uncomfortable. It's confusing, but it's necessary. Because there is no growth without discomfort. There is no evolution without agitation. You cannot become who you were meant to be while clinging to who you used to be. We've been sold this lie that if something is meant for you, it should come easily, that if it's right, it won't hurt. But that's not how it works. What's meant for you might challenge you before it blesses you. It might stretch you before it fits you. It might ask you to become more than you are right now. And that's the whole point. Growth demands transformation. It asks you to outgrow your excuses, to let go of what no longer serves you, to confront your insecurities and face the truth you've been avoiding. And none of that feels good in the moment, but it's the discomfort that delivers the strength. Think about a seed. It has to breaken before anything new can grow. That breaking is violent. It's hidden. It looks like destruction. But inside, that breaking is the blueprint for something greater. You're no different. The moments when you feel like you're falling apart may be the moments you're finally breaking through. The confusion is not a curse. It's a clearing, a space where the old falls away so the new can take root. Every time you face struggle, you're being forged, refined, molded into something more focused, more grounded, more aligned. Struggle humbles you, but it also hardens you in the best way. It gives you grit. It teaches you to show up even when the outcome is uncertain. It builds emotional muscle, the kind that doesn't collapse under pressure, the kind that knows how to breathe through the chaos and keep moving. Growth isn't polite. It doesn't knock gently. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It shows up disguised as discomfort. It looks like loss, feels like failure, but it's doing work beneath the surface. It's dismantling your limits. It's shaking loose your fears. It's clearing the path for something stronger to emerge from within you. The person you're becoming doesn't live in the space where everything is easy. That person is born in the trial, in the tension, in the slow, painful push past your limits. You don't become unbreakable by avoiding the fire. You become unbreakable by walking through it and realizing it couldn't destroy you. Everyone has a story, not just the one we tell others. The polished version, the edited one, the highlight reel. But the full story, the messy parts, the moments we try to hide, the failouts, the times we fell apart when nobody was watching. Most people try to run from those chapters. They pretend they never happened or bury them so deep that even they stop acknowledging them. But here's the truth. You can't become who you're meant to be until you fully own who you've been. Your story is not your shame. It's your strength. Every piece of it, every wrong turn, every closed door, every almost. That didn't happen. Every rock bottom you thought you'd never crawl out of. You made it through. And that alone gives your story power. But it's only power if you claim it. Because if you don't own your story will own you. It will control you from the shadows. It will feed you lies that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not ready, not worthy. And you'll start living according to those lies unless you face your story head on and say, yes, this happened. And yes, I'm still here. Owning your story means refusing to be a prisoner of your past. It means choosing to lead with honesty, not just success. It means standing in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because freedom lives on the other side of truth. And too many people are stuck behind a version of themselves that isn't even real. They're performing instead of living. They're wearing masks instead of healing, and they wonder why they feel empty, even when it looks like they have everything. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You need to be real, raw, transparent. That's where your influence comes from. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with your scars. They connect with your comeback. They connect with the part of you that almost gave up but didn't. And when you show up as your full self, when you own your whole story, you give others permission to do the same. You become a mirror for what's possible. Owning your story also means you stop outsourcing your worth. You stop letting other people define what your pain means. You stop giving your power to those who only knew a version of you that no longer exists. Your story is yours. You get to interpret it. You get to pull meaning from it. You get to say, this chapter hurt, but it taught me. This part was dark, but it revealed my light. When you own your story, you stop editing yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for your truth in the first place. Sometimes people will try to remind you of your past like it's an insult. Let them, because what they don't realize is that what they're pointing to is your proof. Proof that you've grown, that you've healed, that you evolved. You don't have to erase the past to move forward. You just have to reclaim it. When you do, it no longer controls you. It equips you. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, live differently. Not from fear, but your story in its fullness is not a mistake. It's your message. Every time you overcame what was meant to break you, you added another sentence to it. Every tear you cried became ink on the page. And every time you chose to rise, even when you had every reason to quit, you turned the page to a new chapter. Some people will only ever read the cover, and that's okay. But the ones you're meant to reach, they'll read every word. They'll see themselves in your pages. And that's why your honesty matters. You don't have to wait for your story to be perfect before you share it. The power isn't in the perfection. The power is in the progress, in the transformation, in the way you kept going when everything told you to stop. You've lived through storms that were meant to silence you. Now let them strengthen your voice. The broken places in your story are not the end. They're the foundation. The place where your future self begins to rise. The place where you stop hiding and start healing. Where you stop apologizing and start owning the very thing that shaped you most. You've been through it. The pressure, the pain, the silence, the setbacks. You've asked the hard questions, faced the hard truths, and now you see it. It wasn't random. It wasn't punishment. It wasn't the end. It was preparation. It was purpose. It was power being born through process. Everything you felt, it was shaping you. Every rejection, it was redirecting you. Every struggle, it was stretching you. Every scar, it was schooling you. And every step, even the ones that didn't make sense, they were leading you right here. You didn't just survive. You were sharpened. You didn't just get through it. You grew through it. And now you don't carry the weight of your past. You carry the wisdom. You don't hide your pain. You honor it. You don't fear your story. You own it. So stand in it. All of the beauty, the brokenness, the becoming, because it didn't happen to you. It's happening for you. Still, right now, even in this moment, especially in this moment. And if you listen closely, deep down, you'll hear it. The sound of purpose waking up. The sound of power rising up. The sound of you finally stepping into everything you were created to be.